Welcome back to the Garden Hutch. Today we'll discuss the top 5 summer vegetables to grow in your raised beds. Let's get going. Well, our summers here in Zone 7B can be quite hot. Here in Arkansas, it's already been triple digits as only the end of June. There's more of them coming, so that got me thinking, what are the top 5 vegetables that we can grow in our raised beds to get a good harvest during the summer? Coming in at number 5 on our list is okra. Now, okra is a delicious vegetable. It comes off in pods. You can pick them anywhere from like 4 to 8 inches, depending on the variety. Some of them, you don't want them to get too long or they'll get woody. You know, they're kind of hard to eat or whatever. You can also grow the spineless variety and you don't have to worry about them. You can get as large as you want. Okra does really well in the heat. It also doesn't require as much water as some of the other things on our list. It comes in here at number 5 because it's not quite as versatile or popular among everybody as some of the other vegetables are. But for okra, what we like to do with ours, number 1 is pickle it. We will pickle okra and our family loves it. We'll eat it all year. Our whole goal here is to grow enough okra so that we can have enough to last through the winter and give it out to all the family who want some. Another popular way to eat okra is to fry it, especially here in the South. Almost all restaurants serve fried okra, that sort of thing. Another way that I ate it growing up was steamed with squash and tomatoes. I still like that a lot. My wife, though, she's not a huge fan of the texture of the okra when it's steamed, so I don't get to eat that as often as I would like to. Coming in at number 4 today, we have squash and melons. Now, I kind of put these together because they're sort of in the same family and you grow them somewhat the same. One thing I do want to say before we get too far into this is melons and your winter squashes, they take up significantly more room. So kind of like this bed behind me that we'll look at here in a minute. You kind of want to plan ahead for those types of things. But your normal squash, your just summer squash, your yellow crooknecks or your patty pans, your zucchinis, those sorts of things, the best part about those squash are you can plant them. They'll put out a whole lot of squashes, and then as soon as they get to be kind of a hassle where you've trimmed them back a lot, maybe they're getting some damage on the leaves, you can just pull those bad boys up and you can start another plant. In 2 to 3 weeks, you'll start having more squash coming off of them. And if you kind of do what we do here at the homestead, I always have some in the greenhouse. That way I don't have to wait 2 or 3 weeks. Once those plants get big enough, I just go through, pick out my least favorite or least productive squash that are currently in the garden. I'll pull those bad boys out and I put the new ones in. So anyway, as far as the summer squash, that's a great idea, right? Like just kind of keeping some going in your greenhouse whenever some of them get, any trauma or even start not producing the ones that are in the ground. Just pull those bad boys up, compost them, put your new one in. Now let's take a look at these melons. So we like to grow our melons in these 4x4 raised beds. We did these out of pallets. Actually, I did a video on it. I'll put a link up here on the top, but you can see what happens is we've got cantaloupe and watermelon in here, and it looks like they're a little overcrowded, but this is the second year that we've done this, and we get a lot of melons out of this little bit. What we let them do is they come over the top of the chicken wire here, and the tendrils will come out, and as the year goes around, what we do is we just kind of take them all clockwise. And we'll just pull them around clockwise around the whole bed, and through the course of the year you'll get 20-25 melons all together. So I'll just go in here and you can see the size of some of these. Let me see if we can get that bad boy back there. Yeah, and then we've got cantaloupe just hanging all over that backside back there. So even the first round of these melons this year, we'll probably get, I don't know, there's probably 10 or 12 on there now. Then there'll be a whole nother round that comes off after these. So it's nice to grow melons because you get them consistently throughout the year. I don't eat a whole lot of melon, but my wife will wear these fellas out. We also have neighbors and their kids that like them as well. So once again, melons and squash take our number 4 spot. Coming in at number 3 today, we have cucumbers. Cucumbers are half of the reason why I started gardening to begin with. We absolutely love cucumbers. They go great in the summertime. A few things about cucumbers, they need to be trellised. You can see behind us, we just use things from here on the homestead. We have a bamboo patch that we cut and we trellis. That's the way that we use them. They can get up to 7-8 foot tall. This year I put my trellis at 5.5. What I'm trying to do this year with our cucumbers is grow them up and then over the top and down the back side. And then what you do is you kind of thin the leaves on the front side to let the light filter through the back as the plant grows down. Not sure if it's going to work or not, but so far we are getting an insane amount of cucumbers. Cucumbers are really good for you in the summertime. They have a whole lot of electrolytes that you can use. You can slice them, you can put them in water to drink. In fact, whenever I played baseball as a young man, I had a baseball coach that would have us drink cucumber water before every practice if it was over 90 degrees. We never got cramps. I don't know if that was because we were kids or if the cucumber water worked, but regardless, we enjoyed the taste of it. You can also pickle it, which is what we do a lot of here on the homestead. But going back to my reason I started growing cucumbers to begin with is, to me, summer means tomato and cucumber salad. So whenever we can grow our own slicing cucumbers to put with our tomatoes, it is a perfect world here for us anyway. So the number 3, cucumbers. Hey, Oscar. Yeah? Can you say hi? This is a new addition to the house. He just showed up, so apparently he's our new outside cat. The number 2 summer vegetable to put in your raised beds on our list are peppers. Now, the reason that I like to grow peppers is because, number 1, there's a huge variety of peppers that you can grow. Like, regardless of what your palate is, there is literally a taste for everyone. Another reason is, especially with raised bed gardening, because peppers are so versatile as far as what kinds, they also come in a lot of different sizes. So whenever you're planting a raised bed, depending on how many of them you have, depending on how much room you have, and what your ultimate goal from your garden is, you might grow 3 to 4 kinds of peppers or just 1. Peppers are fantastic for the summer because you can start them right now into June, early July, and you're going to have peppers, and a lot of them, before the year is out. They'll grow really fast through the hot part of your summertime and start putting off, but you'll be able to pick peppers right up until the first freeze, most varieties anyway. What we like to do with our peppers are, we like to put them and roast them with tomatoes and freeze them for the winter time. I also like to roast them with any of our summer squashes or our winter squashes and put it over pasta or rice. We also take our banana peppers and we ferment them like we do our cucumbers and our okra, and they are superb. I'm trying to think, there's so many things you can do with peppers. We put them on our pizzas. Now, one thing I would like to say, we are not fans of hot peppers here on the homestead, and I'm sure there's a bunch of you folks out there who are. So I'm sure you have a whole bunch of other things that you can do with those hot peppers that we don't even think of. Before we move on to the number 1 vegetable on our list today, a few honorable mentions are, you can do beans, corn, kale, eggplant, basil, and perhaps the one that was most surprising to me was potatoes. Now at the end of June, early July, you can throw potatoes in containers, and by the time the first freeze rolls around, you're going to have yourself a bumper crop of potatoes. In fact, we did this last week and we already have potatoes coming up through the soil. So that's kind of exciting. So now we've arrived at our number 1 vegetable to grow in your raised beds for the summer. Anybody who watches this channel knows exactly what I'm fixing to say. Tomatoes. I started gardening because of tomatoes. I mentioned it earlier with the cucumbers, but tomatoes and cucumbers are like summer to me. I can eat tomatoes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. In fact, right now we are. I know a lot of people are wondering, why would this end up on this video since we've already planted our tomatoes and we're picking them? The reason is, I have tomatoes started in the greenhouse because I like to start a an early summer crop of tomatoes so that I get tomatoes at the end of August all the way through the month of September. We also like to start a new crop of our Roma tomatoes, which are an indeterminate variety. So with your Romas, you're going to get one massive picking of your Roma tomatoes, and we use those to roast with our peppers, as we mentioned earlier, and freeze for the winter time. I guess really my favorite thing about tomatoes are, much like with the peppers, are the variety. There are so many shapes and colors and sizes of not just the tomato themselves, but also the plants. So the reason I think that tomatoes are perfect for raised beds are because there are so many sizes. There are some that are designed to grow in containers. You know, they're really small, the root systems don't go very deep, and they don't have to have a massive trellising system to hold them. There are also, like these tomatoes behind me, these cherry tomatoes, these plants will get 12, 14 foot tall, and we'll have them staked out all through the summer, and we'll be picking cherry tomatoes, again, right up until the first frost. So tomatoes, obviously, for us anyway, they take the #1 spot because they're delicious and it's the best thing that grows in the garden. In the comments below, let me know what your favorite vegetable to start growing in the summer is. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like. If you have not, please consider subscribing to the channel. It does go a long way in helping us out, and it's free for you. Until next time, I hope that all you folks take care of yourselves. Peace.